Hi, I'm Kandie Frederick with Country Real Estate. Let me ask you something. If home prices were really going to fall, wouldn't we be seeing it clearly by now? Rates have been higher for a while. Inventory has improved in some areas. Buyers aren't bidding like they were a few years ago. So it's easy to think, this has to be the year prices drop. But when you look at the actual numbers, the story's different. Yes, the market has cooled. No, that doesn't mean prices are coming down. Cooling off and declining are two very different things. So let's look at what the data really shows and what it means if you're buying or selling in 2026. No hype, no fear headlines, just facts. Number one, what the national data shows. Start with the big picture. The Federal Housing Finance Agency tracks home values nationwide. Their latest report shows prices are still higher than last year. Growth is slower than the pandemic surge, but it's still positive. That's important. When people say housing crash, they're picturing prices falling everywhere. That's not happening. Now look at Zillow. Their home value index shows U.S. home values are also slightly higher than a year ago. Not overheated, not spiking, but not falling either. And California tells a similar story. Data from the California Association of Realtors shows that while sales have slowed, limited inventory is still keeping prices relatively stable across much of the state. Redfin's forecast lines up with this too, projecting roughly 1% national price growth this year. So across multiple sources, the pattern is consistent. Slower growth, more balance, no national price drop. Number two, why it feels like prices should be falling. Homes are expensive, payments are high, first-time buyers feel stretched. So I understand why people think prices should be correcting. But here's what's really happening. Higher rates cooled buyer demand, but they also locked many homeowners into ultra-low mortgage rates. Most people don't want to trade a 3% loan for a 6 to 7% loan, so they're staying put. That kept supply from flooding the market. In many areas, inventory is still tight. Not extreme like before, but not oversupplied either. And when supply stays limited, prices tend to hold steady. Buyers are cautious. Sellers are more realistic, but neither side is desperate. Markets don't crash when people are acting rationally. Number three, what the rest of 2026 could look like. Looking ahead, forecasts remain steady. Redfin expects about 1% growth nationally. Zillow projects modest appreciation. FHFA continues to show year-over-year gains. California's outlook is similar. CAR reports that tight housing supply is still supporting prices, even with slower buyer activity. That doesn't mean every city is identical. Some oversupplied metro areas have seen mild softening. Others remain very competitive. But nationally, the data does not support a broad downturn. What we're seeing is normalization, a shift from rapid acceleration to a healthier, more sustainable pace. Number four, what this means for buyers and sellers. For buyers, waiting for a dramatic price drop may not be the best strategy. But today's market does offer advantages. Less bidding competition, more choices, more negotiating power. You may not see cheaper prices, but you may secure better terms. And that can mean just as much. For sellers, this is no longer a name your price market. Strategy matters, presentation matters, pricing correctly matters. Buyers have options now, and they compare carefully, but values are not collapsing. Well-prepared homes are still selling at stable levels. The sellers who win today are the ones who price realistically and stand out from competing listings. So, are home prices finally coming down in 2026? Nationally, the data says no. We're seeing stabilization, not a crash. The rapid run-up from a few years ago has leveled off, but broad price declines just aren't showing up. And remember, real estate is local. What's happening nationally may look very different in your neighborhood. If you want to know what this means for your home's value or your buying power, let's talk. Schedule a one-on-one strategy call and we'll build a plan that makes sense for your goals this year.